This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going way back in time, back to just after the Revolutionary War in America, after in the late 1700s, and we're going to be sort of building up the years after that and trying to become Legends of the American Frontier. This is done by Richard Lanius, published by GameSleuth, for 3 to 7 players. It says about 90 minutes on the box to play the game. It's probably about right. It's a game where you're going to be going off on adventures, you're going to be using different character abilities, and you're going to be trying to essentially tell a good story at the end of your life. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. At the beginning of the game, you get to pick a character. Notice the amazing artwork. We have Daniel, Pale-Feather, Nathaniel. And on all of these, you're going to be tracking your wheels of different things like Providence, Capitalism, Fight, Frontier, Knowledge, and Personality. And here's just a closer look at some of the artwork of Sarah and Samuel, Thomas, Jedediah, Stephen, Annie, and Randolph. And once you've selected your character, everybody gets 4 identical cards that can be used for actions during the game, but they have the character's artwork on it as well. At the beginning of the game, everyone's going to get 5 of these upbringing cards. This is the main beginning phase. And from these 5 cards, they're going to have a story on them. They're going to have a story on the side, and then they're going to allow you to put your character's wheel up on certain spots or do certain things. This is a drafting round where sometimes what you'll do is you'll select one card, you'll put it face down so no one sees it, and you'll take the 4 and you'll pass it to the left. You'll continue to do this until you have 4 upbringing cards. The last of the 5th card gets discarded. So at the end of the upbringing round, everyone has 4 of these. They then take them and they just display them out and they update their character wheels. So I would go up 2 here and 1 on the Providence, for example. And, you know, we'd go up on all these and do these certain things. And if we want, you can actually read some of these things that happen to you during the first 16 years of your life. So after displaying mine at the beginning, my upbringing, I have 3 personality, 2 fight, 4 Providence, and 1 Frontier. Sort of gives me specialized in certain areas of the game. And you could read it like, received militia training at religious school, then I spent a year traveling with an Indian medicine man. My parents were actors, and by my teens I was a seasoned performer and a vivacious fiddler player, a life of any campfire. Then we come to the main stage of the game, which is the adventure stage, and here we're going to be going to different places like back east, the frontier, the far west, and we're going to be going on adventures. We're going to end up hopefully getting certain things and being able to use tokens to then buy certain things to get us points. So how this works is everyone at the beginning of the round is going to get dealt 7 of these skill cards, and you'll have them in your hand to play. Now, as these different journeys possibilities come out, we look at these. In the far east, the fate wheel comes out right away. So this says anyone that goes here is going to lose 2 skill cards. We're here, we won't know what this fate is until next round or when this card moves here. In the far west, they won't know what it is because it's a longer journey to get there until there. So at different times, these wheels will get flipped up. Of course, if anybody goes there early, they'll get flipped up as well. And so what everyone's going to do is going to take their cards, they're going to select one of them, and they're going to put it face down, and then once everybody's ready, everybody will reveal where they're going. Now, of course, as you're playing down, even though it's secret, you can say where you're going, and you can tell the truth, or you can lie. So eventually what you do is everyone's going to flip their cards, and they're going to kind of put where they're going. And then, starting with the back east, each of these 2 players, starting with the one that's closest to the start player, will be able to play some cards. Now, notice that there's 2 types of adventures. That right there is a solo adventure, and sometimes there'll be group adventures. Solo adventure is 1 person can possibly win it. The group adventure is you need a lot more points, but a group can win many different things. So in this case, let's just look at a solo one. And what this means is that someone to win this or complete this quest of establishing the first foundry in America needs 14 points. In this case, they need personality. And this would be the rewards. And if they don't get it, they have to take a bad card off. When playing cards, now I automatically already lost 2 skilled cards because I was going here. So instead of having 7 cards, I have 5 cards. Now, if I look at my cards here, I have 2 different, you see 2 different types. Some that have this sort of bullseye, and those are always cards of 5 or more, and cards of 4 or less have these ingenuity or barrel symbols. Now, I can play either one card that is trump, which is this, so in this case it's personality, or luck or wild. So in this case, I have a card that's 8. I could play this single card, Or I could play as many barrel cards as I want, as long as I have trump, which is this, luck, or wild. So I could throw these 3 cards, which adds up to 7, or I could throw this card, which adds up to 8. In this case, I actually have 2 choices, and so I'm actually going to play this card that's 8. After that, essentially we're going to do a destiny draw. What this is you take the skill deck and you draw the top card, and the top card always adds to it no matter what. So now I'm at 9. If this card was a trump, a luck, or a wild, you would keep drawing. Every time the card's trump, luck, or wild, you keep drawing. In this case, there's not one. So sometimes you can get a good run that you're trying to get, otherwise you're not. Now, I would add that, which is 9 right now, to my personality on my wheel, which is 3. So I have 12, and I came too short. Now you do have, so I would have failed that quest, but you do have these True Grit. These are big chunky icons here in this release of the game, and you can start with one of these and you can gain them with different cards, and they do different things. But one of the things you can do with them is throw one away to get a new destiny draw. In this case, I could have spent this and I would have gotten 3 more and I would have done it, and this would keep going actually. 3 more, I got some lucky, and it would have stopped right there. So I actually would have had a lot of points here. Now, because if I failed it, I would have had to have taken one of these failure cards. I'll show you those do in a moment. If I passed it, we would go to the other player that went here, and he would do the same thing. If we've both passed, whoever has the highest number gets to choose the reward. In this case, you'd get some tokens. You'd get one of these, and then one of those, or one of those. Only one person is winning this quest, and if we both lose, we both take that. Now, these bad cards typically do really bad things. For example, you might have to discard all of your blue tokens like that. You might have to discard, let's see, all your reds. You might have to discard that and go down on capitalism. You might have to discard all, and then if you already have a copy of this card in your legend, discard all of those. So just really bad things can happen. Now, since we failed the quest, it actually moves up 1. And at the beginning of the next round, it's actually going to move up 1 again. If at any point this comes off, a new card will come out. And it's sort of a timer for the game because there's 8 cards in each deck. As soon as one of those decks get emptied, the game is over. And you would resolve the other ones just like that. Now, about those bad cards, another thing you can do is we talked about those True Grit tokens before, doing another Destiny draw. You could throw away 2 of those and not have to take one of these bad cards or a hardship card. So after that, after everyone's done their thing, we do rest. Now, keep in mind that this could have been instead of going to the frontier or something like that, and you could draw a True Grit token, or you could get 4 cards. Of course, you have to have 7 or your hand size. Sometimes you can get larger hand size with other cards, and then you can trade. You can trade in any 2 tokens for any 1 token, and then you can buy a reward card. And buying a reward card certainly is putting in tokens. So this one I need 3 blue and a purple, and I could go up 1 on either one of those 2. Plus at the end of the game, they're 1 point. And on the end, you put them next to your what you did at the beginning of the game, the uprising, because this essentially will give you your story over the course of the game, and then a new one will get flipped up next round. After everyone's done their rest, we do the evening phase, which essentially is everyone in player order can then buy a reward card just like this. And then we move the first player marker, we start that phase again. Sometimes over the course of the game, you have to take a hardship card, and these are really bad. They're like those other bad cards where you have to discard some tokens or some stuff. They're just other ways to get beat up over the game. I want to show you how a group adventure works. This means if there's more than 1 person, more than 1 people can go together and try to work for this. It uses this, and everybody's that went there. If it adds up to 55, you all win together. If you lose together, you each have to take one of those 2 bad cards. Now, when you win together, whoever has the most gets to draft rewards. This card is a reward, it's 3 points, and there's different things. This is 1 skill of these, plus those 3 tokens. Another person can draft these 2 tokens, another person can draft that token, and you go there drafting the 4 different rewards from all the people that successfully did that quest. Now, when there's no cards left to refill, or 2 of these decks, including the hardship or the rewards, are gone, we finish the adventure phase of the game, we go on to the legacy phase. There's these legacy cards. Essentially, people will be getting 2 points for certain things. The player with the most frontier adventure cards would get this. The most of those tokens would get points. The most of those. So essentially, whoever has the most of the different types of cards and the different types of tokens is going to get these legacy cards. Whoever has the most True Grit's getting 5 points. You know, most of those tokens and so on and so forth. They would pass those out. And then everybody displays out their entire life over the game, and they go through their story and they sort of read it out, filling in the blanks, trying to make the best story. If you want, you can give the first player marker to the person who did the best story. And then essentially you would add up all the points and subtract some of the points from all your cards. You'd get a point for every 4 of the tokens that you had in the game, and the person who has this has 5 points because they had the best story. Whoever has the most points at the end is the winner. Now, I was interested in this game because I love historic themes. I love learning new things. I love using the artwork that comes with it. And let me tell you about the things that I liked about this game first, then I'll get to the issues that I had with the game afterwards. I do love the theme. It's awesome. It's right after Revolutionary War. All the cards just drip flavor text and theme of what you're trying to do. The different areas that you're going up in make sense with the type of cards you're going after. The things that hurt you in those areas are also thematic. Love the theme here. Man, is it depth. Is it really deep? It gets you in depth into that area of time. The components are awesome in this game. The wheels, again, it took me about almost an hour to put together all those wheels, all 60 of them. But once they're together, man, the components are awesome. The big chunky character sheets, the cards are great quality. Those big chunky True Grit tokens are amazing. They are heavy, they thud. Awesome job on the components here. The artwork is just stellar. I mean, as you could see on there, it just really draws into the theme. And everything around this game, around it, I loved, except a major part of the gameplay. The adventure stage where you're playing those cards, I didn't really have a problem with any of the other games. I like the drafting, the abilities at the beginning. I like the way you scored at the end. I like the idea of you're trying to win these quests to then get those quests into tokens, turn those tokens into points. It sounds like a good Euro game that's historically based, and everything about it I liked, except the main part where you're playing the cards. I disliked it so much, and so did everybody that played this with me, that it just unfortunately ruined what I think could have been a great game here. So what happens is you're playing these cards, and you can either play one of those cards that's 5 or more, or you can play a bunch of them that have the same suit or luck or wild as the smaller barrel ingenuity tokens. The problem is you go on this quest, especially the solo quests, and you play a card. You play your best card. Maybe you even have one good card. You got an 8 or something like that of that, and you can only play one of those cards. And then really, unless you're using those True Grit tokens, it's really just a luck fest. You're pulling the first card up and you're getting that automatically. And if it's a luck, wild, or the same trump as the quest you're going on, you draw another one and another one. And you're literally just playing a card, maybe a couple of cards at a time, and you're just waiting for this luck to get you over the top. Yeah, granted, over the course of the game, you'll hopefully start to get your character's abilities up so you only focus on one thing. But I found myself either not having the right cards and seeing an adventure that I'd like to go on, but I don't have the right cards quite yet. So maybe I'll rest that turn and do nothing. Essentially, I'll grab some new cards. Maybe I'll get the ones I need, maybe I won't. Maybe I get the cards I need, but somebody else completed that adventure this turn, so that turn pretty much was nothing for me. Maybe I'm waiting for somebody to do that adventure, and someone fails it, so it moves up. And in the beginning of the next round, it moves up again, and now it's off the board, and I can't do anything about it. I felt like the decisions you made were not very deep. They were kind of obvious. You're either doing nothing on your turn most of the time, so you don't get beat down, because those bad cards are so bad. This game beats you down so rough. Gosh, those bad cards are so horrible that, especially at the beginning of the game, you're trying to get your momentum going, you're trying to get some stuff, you finally get a token, and then the next adventure you go on, you gotta discard all your tokens. And it just happens over and over again. The game's super hard, it beats you down, you don't have a lot of options, and it really just comes down to the luck of this destiny draw. Sure, you can mitigate it with some True Grit tokens, but you gotta, other than the first one you start with, you gotta do good things to get those in the first place. It's way too hard for what it is, and it's way too lucky. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more strategy play with the cards as opposed to just choosing one or the other and then hoping for the best. So unfortunately, it was not a winner for me, although I think this game could have been one of my favorites of all time if they just redone that mechanism of playing the cards and how that whole thing was done. So this might still be something you want to look at if you love the theme, if you don't mind luck in your games, if you don't mind games that really beat you down hard, then you might want to check it out. Otherwise, I'm not going to recommend it to you, and that's The Legends of American Frontier.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.